This week, we go 4 wide in Race A. Race B sees somebody meet Barrier. And KIE heads to the realm in Race C. That's better. Hello everyone, and welcome to week 20 of the Gran Turismo weekly race guide. We're on a GT7 this time around. I know the last one was GT Sports, of course, and we had GT7 on the same week. Well, here we are, GT7 again. We're at a fairly new circuit in the grand scheme of it. It's Lego Maggiore West here for Race A. And we are in the Nissan Silvias, which you can tell in the background. Let's jump to those race details then. Racing 5 laps here at Lego Maggiore. It's a grid start. Do use traction control and sports hard tyres with everything else, the usual stuff. Timestamps are in the background as well. If there's a particular part of this video you want to jump to, I'm going to stop yapping. We're going to jump straight to the race here. Let's jump straight into this race then and see exactly what happens. This one is a good one. Here we are then at the start. Flash away, of course. The shout-outs here. Svetlio. We've seen Svetlio a few times and is normally watching the videos as well. So a shout-out to you. Traction control on 1 in the Silvia. Let's get ready to go racing. And here we go. We start on a hill as well. So the further back you are, the more struggle you have with the start. However, Inferno, shout out to you. You said hello in the lobby. Yes, an absolutely brilliant start here as we head towards turn 1 then. Unusual to say turn 1 at Lego Maggiore with this double right-hander, but here we are. Now, I was looking around the outside. Probably not the wisest thing to do here. And we try again. Inferno getting on the inside there beautifully. Has to leave a little bit of space on the exit here. Leaves me plenty there, to be fair. Loses the rear end. And we're going to keep P11 for now. Oh, we get a bit squirrely as well. Now, that is something to note with this car. It is very, let's go sideways. Let's put it that way. Now, we're going to head down in towards this left-hander where we have a hairpin here. Very dangerous corner. It's easy to get it wrong. I tried around the outside. I have no idea why. I went a bit mental today. Apparently, it worked out very well because we actually gained a few positions. So, I mean, I wouldn't recommend doing that, but hey, it worked. What can I say? Somebody there with a penalty, so getting another plate. And somebody else up ahead getting a penalty as well. Who's that? Paluta or Palufa. As we go around the outside there of somebody else, Javig there, just gives me enough space. Clips me onto the gravel, nothing major. Did try and give me room there, but up into P7 already in this race. Maybe a win is on the cards here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. As we go through the right-hander then, you have to cut a lot of this to make sure you don't run too wide. Like Tom does there. Clips at the barrier. Oh, I just avoid Tom. Up into the cursed one already. In towards the right-hander we go. We clip the right-hand side. We're actually going to advance a bit further on. We know that person gets a penalty. And here we go then. So, what's going to happen here with third, second, and first? We try around the outside here. Not going to quite work out. So we've got P2 with a penalty. Somebody asked what the cursed position is all about. If you know Steve, Mr. Super GT. Awesome guy. Absolute GOAT. Absolute legend. Check him out on YouTube, of course. He's heading towards 1 million subscribers. He used to always finish 6th. So 6th became the cursed position because of that. And that is the reason why. Right, we're going to leave the Banky Boy now, and we're going to go on towards the final lap, while also fighting for this victory up ahead with Daniel and Svetlio. So this is obviously the technically start-finish straight with a curve in it. But even so, we're going to cross that line. We're going to head towards turn 1. And on the right side, you're looking for the gap in the trees. Very hard to see on the video. Very easy to see when you race. Look for that gap. Now, with this car, because it's so oversteery, you're going to stay in fourth gear here. Do not change down. Let the car roll through the corner a little bit. Now, as you leave this corner, then drop to third. It keeps it stable, and then brake again at the end of this curb and try and get it tucked in. Sometimes you don't want to stay in fourth throughout this corner and then change to third as you brake here, just to get the turn in. Keep that in mind. But the whole idea here is you want to reduce weight transition as much as possible. When you're hard on the brakes, do not change gear in this car because that's where it will really lose out. Now, this next corner, I'm going to show you the brake marker, but I'm going to try and overtake you move at the same time. Now, the bullet sign on left-hand side, as that leaves your screen, you're going to brake, and you're going to stay in fourth gear and try and get the car on the inside curb as much as possible. That is how you do it. You saw me do that earlier on. However, we're going to try and overtake move now around the outside. Now, you can see that we would have made it, so we try around the outside here. Now, as you go into this braking zone, you want to do it straight line it and stay in second gear. I dropped first there to avoid hitting the car on my outside. I give them room on the exit, and clean through we go. Now, as I said, as you brake into that corner, the car's going to want to oversteer and do all sorts. That's why you stay in fourth gear initially, then get it straight, then brake. As we then head towards Banky Boy. Now, we're braking a lot later than normal. So on the left-hand side, you've got like grey barrier that appears there. As that hits the end of your screen, hit the brakes then, and you should be fine. Third gear for Banky Boy. Very easy to do as well. You want to take a wide line in, really clip the inside, and follow through the corner. Now, Daniel gets it slightly wrong here. He gets a bit of oversteer. Clips that gravel there. We're going to have a run with Daniel all the way up to the line then, and we're currently into P2 we go. And in fact, we're clean past before this left-hander. Make sure you stay far left as possible, because this right-hander can be deadly. You want to clip a lot of this. Really get the car turned in. Only turn once, and through we go to take that P2 then. Quite a funny race. There'll be a lot of carnage in this race because there's some very, very tricky corners in this one. Congratulations to Svetlio. It's worth checking out this circuit though, just to give it a bit of a go. We're going to head now to race B. Welcome then to Deep Forest Raceway. And before you go, oh, not again. It's not again. Because for the very first time, I believe anyway, we're doing this in reverse. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's Deep Forest in reverse. And trust me, reverse is far trickier than going forward. Let me tell you that. Let's jump straight to the race details first of all. We're racing 5 laps here at Deep Forest. It's a rolling start. I mean, on the racing hard tyres. The rolling start is stupid as well. We'll get more into that in the race. All the other details are exactly the same. Now, there was a mixture of choices here. There was Subaru and also GTR. Now, I did this race twice. Some bloopers at the end of this video for you to check out. However, this is the race that we're going to show here, and I chose a WRX for this second race. Let's jump to this race then, and let's have a look exactly what happens. Here we are then at the start. Are we ready, folks? Are we ready? We do have TCR_ Crowds Garage in the lobby here as we get ready for the start then. Last corner. Look at this, rolling start. Why P13, P14, 15, 16 have to start on this last corner? I don't know. Look at the size of this straight, and we're starting on the last corner. Sort it out, Gran Turismo. Sort it out. Now, we're coming to here, absolutely barreling too fast into nearly the back of a TCR driver, which is not the best, but we took avoiding action. That's what you should do if you brake too late here at Deep Forest in reverse. Plenty of room on the exit there to just avoid everybody. Now, up ahead, we have a penalty for a German, the Iceman. Not quite Iceman now. Not cool getting a penalty, but we've no idea what it's for. It could be an absolute dodgy penalty and a half. We don't know, but they hit the barrier, and we're going to go through up into P13 then, as we're going to advance a bit further on. Let's start getting into this racing action then. We see TCR_ Crowds Garage up ahead. In fact, we've got a penalty for somebody there. Who is that? It's a Gatarga, and well played by staying off the racing line. That is really good sportsmanship. But here we go. Here we have Crowds Garage then. So we go for the move down the inside then, and it looks like we're going to get done. That was the camera trick. If you're going to the tunnel, quick look back, quick look forward, sorts out the camera, and in towards the braking zone we go. Again, a shout out to the Portuguese driver behind a part of TCR. If you do want to join TCR, do check out the description. I'm trying to keep on top of the members, as are a few of the other admins. Sometimes it might just be a couple of days, so do not panic. Now, Spook got it all sorts of wrong there. In towards the tunnel we go, and the left-hander. Spook keeping it very close on the inside as we accelerate through there. We're just staying off the curb now as we go into this second part of the left and continue on out. Nowhere to go at the moment. This corner, a very tricky corner to get right. We nail it fairly okay there in the grand scheme of it as we then head down the hill towards this last corner then. Again, a corner easily you could take wrong. Now, I prefer a wider line in and a later apex. I think it's better for you because you can get a much better run out the corner. As you see there, big difference there with Spook hitting the grass, just turning in that earlier. And we're going to have the run on Spook then. Through we go on the Evo. Now, is the Evo going to want to come back at us? I can tell you now, Spook does want to come back. Spook wants a race. So you're about to get a race, folks, to go through that right-hander then. And again, now you want to get right, and you can't really see the apex here, but you want to get close to that green thing as possible. And we get it slightly wrong here, and we weren't paying full attention. So in towards the braking zone we go. We're sort of in the middle of the track. Spook trying to go around the outside. Can Spook do this? Not quite. Oh, gets a brilliant run off the corner though. Lovely V-shape from Spook here in the Evo, but it's going to have to fall in behind for now. Going to get in that slipstream, but it does mean, you see the camera trick there again, it does mean Spook is going to have the slipstream heading down towards that other corner as we go into the tunnel. Again, look behind, look forward. There we go. We can see it clear as day as we head towards this corner, then in towards the braking zone. We got Spook absolutely lunges. Oh, gets it all sorts of wrong. Looks to stop the car. Not going to quite do it. Oh, doesn't hit anything there. Lucky for Spook. Now, we're going to go into a lap guide here. So, as you head across this crest of the hill down towards the right-hand side, you want to keep it as right as much as possible. Then head up towards the right-hand side, and where that bollard is here. So, you're going to want to start turning left here. And as much as you might not be able to see the corner, trust me, if you see the corner, it is too late. It's one of those where you turn earlier and then you know you're going to make it. So you can't see the curb and then you can see it. And there we go. And we see somebody off there. Now, the braking for this corner, really weird. There's no set braking distance because it's all about how well you nailed the previous corner. But it's always going to be after the 100-meter board in a Group 4 car. You can see there, I broke about 80 meters and I get the car stopped. I want to keep it tight here and really full throttle as much as possible to see somebody else meeting defense there. I'm not sure what's going on. But we continue out that corner now and we have the run. Now, that hairpin is so important. In fact, I would argue that that whole first section, very, very critical for a lap time. Because if you get even the remote part of it wrong, the first part will break this part here, the straight. And the straight is lethal for your lap time. So it really wants to get right. Now, as you head down towards this right-hander, to start the curb on the left-hand side, actually just after that starts is when you're going to brake in the WRX. So you're going to see that now. There we go. So we're going to brake. Third gear is the gear you want to be in. You want to clip the apex and just full on out of that corner. You should be fine. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. I do a slight lift here, and I would recommend you do a slight lift as well. You want to clip that curb as late as possible, straight line this as much as you can, and really keep it far right. And you're going to straight line the braking as you go into this tunnel. The tunnel entrance is your brake marker. The closer you can get to it and just straight line the braking, the better you will stop. If you're turning and braking, your car's going to go all over the place, but we managed to do it very nicely there. And you want to accelerate quite early here as you go through that corner. Now, we're going to get to this end of the tunnel here, and on the right-hand side, or the tunnel exit, is your brake marker. One thing you are going to see is I'm going to get a penalty for this, actually. I am a little bit too far over, even though I am in the white lines, which is very bizarre to me. I've got to be honest. I'm inside the white lines and still get a track limit, so something to look at, really, with the dodgy penalties. Now, you've got a brake marker on the right-hand side. This corner, very difficult. When you pass that, instantly turn left, and you will make the corner. If you delay it too much, you will not make the corner. You might want to slightly lift it, but on a time trial lap, you do it flat. You do not lift as somebody gets out the way there with a penalty. Last corner, right inside that tent there. As that clips the end of your screen is when you're going to brake. And as I said earlier, you want a later apex. You don't want an early apex here. So I always stay out wide and then come back in, just as Mystery 7 Brown is doing up ahead. That's an argue. They did it better than me. Well played, Mr. 7 Brown. Not Mystery, Mr. So we've got a penalty here. Now, there's nobody really behind us with them, I'm going to impact there. So I stay on the racing line. In towards the braking zone we go again. Nailing that beautifully as we exit that corner. We're trying to get as much power as possible. Oi! Oh, Fireblade's gone. They were the pole sitter. What's happened to them? Maybe a bot smacked with Gypsy King. I don't know. Anyway, in towards the tunnel we go. Mystery 7 Brown keeping, or Mr. should I say, keep saying Mystery. Defending very nicely there as we come out of that corner. Now, I sort of now saying more towards the left, and I don't get a penalty for this. I'm still unsure what the penalty was for, if I'm brutally honest, but hey, it is what it is. Now, as you see there, we have to lift here just because the Subaru was in the way there. And we're going to head down towards the last corner. Again, we want a late apex if we can, but Mr. 7 Brown goes a bit too deep this time. We're going to get on the inside here, and we're going to have a run to the line with the Subaru driver then, as here we go. We're going to have this run, and you can see we start closing it. I'm not sure what the difference is other than gear changing times there. As we get towards the line, it's going to be very close, and we just miss out. We get the curse position in the end. Brilliant race there with Mr. 7 Brown. Really, really, really good stuff. And a shout out to you. And a shout out to TCR_Crowds Garage as well. Really well played by you. Some good racing there. And I had some good fun. Right, let's head to race C then for the final race of the week, where we head to Australia. Welcome then to a very dark Bathurst. Yes, we are at Mount Panorama. And we are in Group 3 machinery for this one. So you can see the Beetle in the background. That was top at the time. I think a couple of cars can compete here. The Subaru WRX and maybe a few other sort of the peak cars that we know of. Will be able to have a good race here. The Beetle doesn't like to play ball very nicely at this track. You've really got to handle it to be able to use it very, very, very well. Let's jump to those race details then. We're racing 10 laps here at Bathurst. It's a rolling start, and we are racing hard tyres. And again, there's just not much. No strategy, no nothing. It is just a straight out race from start to finish. The only difference is we go from nighttime to daytime. Wow. But we actually do want some strategy, PD. So, yeah, can we sort it out, please? Because this race would be better with strategy. In fact, a daily race here should always have strategy. There should be no exception to this. That's what A and B are for with the sprint races. Let's jump to the race then. Let's have a look. In fact, no, we're not. We're not jumping to the race. I'm going to show you a trick first, and then we'll jump to the race. So let's jump to that trick right about now. Here we are on the menus. Go to settings, go to image settings, and put that EV all the way to 1. Look, trees are now visible. So just like Tinkerbell, I wave a magic wand, and you have light, and you can see. There we go, folks. So use that for your advantage there. The exposure, it really does help, and you can see all the trees and the brake markers that I'm about to give you. Let's jump to the race. Here we are then at the start. We got Here He Isn't. Check out Here He Is. Live streaming today. It's always KIE as well. KIE25 there down in P13. Womble does videos as well. Lots of YouTubers in this as we get ready. So my exposure was on +1, so I can see the tree on the right-hand side, which is my brake marker. Remember that last tree on the right. Ah, there it is. And we can stop the car. Obviously, a bit early there on the brakes. We're starting in P16 with half the field starting before the corner because why not? And unfortunately, True Matrix getting it all sorts wrong there into the last corner. So overtaking before the line. Right, let's get into the thick of the action then. As we have P12 of Womble up ahead. Somebody else actually died during that lap, but it was nothing major, which is why it's not in the video. So here we go. Now we get into the thick of the action. Lots of 2x2 heading towards the chase then, or into the chase, should I say. And we're going to try around the outside. We're going to get a bit greedy with Womble here. If we somehow make it work, Womble gives us room on the outside there in the Corvette. And KIE decides to go to the realm. I hope you enjoyed the realm, KIE. I really do. Anyway, let's get back to racing action. Up into P10 then. And we've got Pablito and Noel Jefferia up ahead there. Two drivers. So a Beetle and a Peugeot RCZ. Beetle looking down the inside in towards turn 1. Gets alongside the Peugeot RCZ. Beautiful move. Job done there. Slight tap from behind as everybody slows up there. Nothing to be concerned about as we leave that corner then. Can we catch up to this battle? Can we start making moves? Can we get the win from the back? Can we do a last to first challenge in a weekly race guide? We've not done this in a very long time, I think. Somebody needs to remind me on that. Anyway, in towards the braking zone we go. We try around the outside here. Not going to work out well. Womble gets down the inside, then leaves me room on exit here as we go side by side up the hill. Womble actually backs out of that. That's really smart, actually. Because he didn't have the full run, it's better to just back out and not cause an issue and not lose as much time. So we're behind the Peugeot RCZ. I'm trying to look for a way past, but they were really struggling with understeer. Look at the understeer they're getting here, and it's just slowing us up massively. Womble looks down the inside, not going to quite work then in towards Skyline, and a slight tap of the barrier. I think that's Skyline anyway. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. As we then head down the mountain, then in towards the right-hander, and then Dipper. And we don't really want to cut the inside. You get a penalty quite easily now for some reason. We have to back out of that again with Jack Travaria. Oh, not really any places to overtake on the mountain, and we lost a whole load of time there, at least a second in terms of speed on the mountain. However, we leave Forest Elbow and we head down the hill, and look at the speed advantage we have in the Beetle. And the Beetle absolutely flying at the moment in terms of the balance performance. It's like it's got a rocket ship in there, a rocket ship engine, should I say. It is a rocket ship. As we then go into the right and in towards the braking zone. I was a little bit worried actually in terms of braking, but the Peugeot RCZ stopped it very nicely as well. So up into P9 we go. So Pablito up ahead. What can we do here? We do have slipstream here, so they go to the left, which is fine. So we're going to head towards the right hand side. They sort of move it last second, which is fine, and then they come back across here and they sort of force me onto the gravel there. A little bit of contact. I wasn't very happy with that, to be honest. Gravel, grass. I wasn't very happy with that. You'll see the flashing there, quite obvious, because yes, that's fine. You can defend it and go to the racing line, but you got to leave a car's width space, and you didn't. And that was quite aggressive with the turning. But even so, we continue racing. So at this point, you go, okay, that's it. I'll flash my lights. We continue racing as normal. So head up on the mountain once again. Just stuck behind the Beetle for now. We're not really stuck actually because we're not that close. 3 temps down, and a couple of people go into the barrier up ahead. Mr. P there. Now, Pablito goes for a move and a half down the inside of the Mustang. That really isn't on that corner at all. The Mustang heads off into the barrier where the Audi ended up a couple of years ago from memory. But Pablito does get a 5-second penalty. So the penalty system working in this situation, which is good. Definitely worth 5 seconds. Probably more, actually, because I assume Mr. P lost more than 5 seconds. But we end up with that position. So we've got Jordan Campbell up next. And I did indicate, or broke. I think there was an indicator there as well. But into the cursed position we go. Thank you, Jordan. You didn't have to do that, mate. But I'll whack my hazards on all the same. So let's see what we can do now. Big gaps up towards the leaders here. The Viatus, I think, has a problem somewhere, because we suddenly caught up to them very, very quickly as we go into this right-hander then and head up the hill. So obviously the hill you can't overtake anywhere, so we're just going to go straight to the downhill part where we head on the inside of the TTV driver as we go side by side. So I changed gear a bit early here, and I think it was actually more wise to stay in that 6th gear, if I'm honest. But into towards the right we go. I clipped that curb. That scared me a bit as we go into the braking zone then, and they don't quite have enough to go on the inside. So we go up into P5. Brilliant racing there with Leviatius. So max power up next, but we've also got a lap guide as well. So heading towards turn 1, I normally use the photographer in the middle because that's what we use. So just to explain what you can use instead, the 100-meter board or the light post. Now the photographer isn't now in time trial, and I know there was issues with that last time. So you're breaking smack bang in the middle of those two items. Please do get used to that. Oh, don't copy the exit there. That was dreadful. But third gear for that corner. Now up towards this right-hander, the end of the tarmac on the left-hand side, really good mark here. I'm braking just before that. You can see that on the left. Now, you want to keep it on the inside as much as possible here. If you're remotely on the outside, as you saw earlier on when I tried to go around the outside of the RC's edge, you're going to head into the barrier. All the grip is on the inside. Use it. It's there for a reason. Now, as you come up here, you might want to brake a little bit. Then you're sort of letting the car roll through the corner. And as that straight piece of tarmac appears there, you can see the white line goes straight. It's on a corner and goes straight. That's when you're going to brake hard. Now, you want to be in second gear for the corner. Now, I tried this in third, and it's a bit slower. So you want second and then short shift to third. Don't do it all in third. If you struggle with short shifting, then stay in third. But don't leave in second gear because you will spin. Now, that tree on the right-hand side, that is your turn-in marker. As that gets towards the edge of your screen, turn in. There's a bit of understeer here, so I do lift a little bit and then accelerate through. And you can see I just... Oh, I don't know if this is the right lap to show you. Never mind. But yes, use that tree, and you should not hit the barrier, or at least lift a little bit as well. Now, heading towards the crest of the hill here, always, always, always lift off. Because if you're accelerating, the front of the car is just going to go flying. So lift off before you hit the crest of the hill with weight transitions. Notice there, it doesn't lift, it just sticks, and you can go through the corner absolutely fine. Now, as we head down the mountain, the Audi R8 sign is your brake marker. Well, you see we're braking a bit earlier here, but we're aiming for the apex before we start braking because we need to straight line the braking as much as possible. Best way to brake. So we then straight line, then we lift and brake in a straight line. Notice every time we're going straight, we brake, and that is how you've got to do that corner. Don't full brake and try and turn, you'll spin. Now, for the dipper, the end of the curb on the right side, just chuck it left when you can, but avoid cutting it too much. You can get a penalty, believe it or not. Weird, I know, because there's a barrier there, but hey, who am I to argue with? Right, the Forest Elbow, I know it said last corner. We're nowhere near it yet. You want to lift and brake a little bit here. You want to slow down the car a little bit because you want to get as far right as possible for Forest Elbow. Now, I'm in the middle of the track here, which is not too bad. And we turn in and we short shift to third gear. Again, you want to be third gear on the exit because that's where you'll benefit from the acceleration. Second, you'll just wheel spin. Now, we're going to head towards the left-hander here. On the right side, we're going to use my favorite and greatest of all brake markers. It's the V in sign event, or should we say sig-nevent. So the V on the right-hand side at the 150-meter board. You click the curb, go through. You might want to short shift to fourth here just to avoid running too wide there as we head towards the last corner, where I've already explained the brake marker here. It's that tree on the right-hand side. And you can see this at night using my exposure trick. So as that tree hits the edge of your screen on the right-hand side, you're going to hit the brakes. You're going to slow down the car towards second gear. Now, I tried this in third, and I was struggling a bit, so I then did it in second and then third gear. You can short shift to third, but again, you might get a bit of understeer. So just have a play with that as best as you can. So there's the photographer. So we're going to stop at the photographer, or I'd say brake using the 100 and the lamppost after it, in between those two. Porsche. Now, the Porsche seems to be doing okay because max power is in it here, but it's not got the power of the other Porsche, i.e. the Beetle. So we go flying past in the Beetle, but max power has the inside here as we head towards this right-hander, and I didn't want to come straight across because of ping, etc. But there we go, job done. Brilliant racing with max power as we leave that corner. And we advance towards final lap, where we do catch up to P3, but unfortunately, not quite got the minerals to do it. And there's the third gear understeer I was talking about on the lap guide. But yeah, P4 it is for race C. Not too bad in the grand scheme of it, starting right at the back in P16. Now, I will say, normally, that is it for the weekly race guide. However, I think you want to see some bloopers of my first race in race B, so let's jump to them right now. Well, here we are. We're having a bit of a race with Jank Acer here. It was a good little race, and we're side by side then, heading to the right-hander here at Deep Forest in a reverse. However, we do that a little bit deep, and we clip Barry R and end up meeting his mate, Defense. Yes, that's right. Both of them in one race. Well, that's not the end of it. So we catch up to Mokellen in the Alfa Romeo. So we try around the outside here. Look at the power of this GTR. As we go into the left, we a little slight weight transfer. And then a little bit more on the hard on the braking. And boom, into Barry R again. 2 accidents for me in daily race B. And I thought I'd show you them because sometimes you only see the best of my racing. And I like to show all my racing. I'm not just, you know, like perfectly perfect in any way, shape or form. I try and be as clean as possible. But there you have it. 2 accidents by yours truly. That's it for this week's race guide. I do hope you enjoyed it. 2 videos there to check out. My logo's there if you want to subscribe. But that's going to be it for me now, folks. Do use the trick I said earlier, but au revoir and farewell.